county dime. Yep.
Good morning.
Yes.
Well,
Buddy.
we are glad you're on.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Good to see you.
Today for our millage rate called meeting. Director Majid, good to see you today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
At this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order and welcome you to do the 2026 millage rate presentation.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioner William, Commissioner Smith online today, so good morning. And we are here for a resolution to set up our 2026 millage rate. And that millage rate we are proposing is 18.190, and that is lower than the rollback rate of 18.325, also lower than our last year's rate of 18.282. Having said that, let's roll with the presentation. And I think before I start, I'm sorry that if I get this, I want to thank you, our tax commissioner, and Tisa Washington. I want to thank you, our tax assessor, Director Barkley, and also Narendra for working all these numbers together. I appreciate them all together. They are a wonderful team together here. While we start, I just want to start with 2025. Next slide, please. One can ask why we look into something which is already past, which is history. History tells us something. We estimate, we plan. What we do against those plans and those budgets is matter to us. I've been here, like this is my first millage rate, so here for a little bit, about 10 or 11 months now maybe. And what I learned is this, that in Rockdale County, we don't budget for spending. We budget to provide services to our citizens in the most cost-effective way, which is a really good thing over here. Having said that, what we happened in 2025 is this, we saved $4.93 million against our budget. In addition to that, we have little more revenues than what we budgeted, 2.979. Altogether was $7.72 million we added to our reserve. One can ask what we do with those reserves. Well, they come very handy when we have emergencies. We have pay-as-you-go financing that we are doing in 2026 for $3.5 million. We have a good credit rating due to that. We call it a bond rating. In addition to that, what is really matter to us in Rockdale County, we collect our taxes October to very early January. So we are running our county with these reserves for next 10 months. So due to the cash flow, these reserves are very important to us. Next slide, please. So when we talked about 25, top 5 department, which saved the most is $1.6 million by fire rescue, finance about $0.6 million, transportation the same, 0.6, Board of Commissioner is about $500,000, and Parks and Recreation for about 0.412 million. Next slide, please. So this is our budget right now. I'm sorry.
412,000. 412,000.
Yes, 0.412 million. My apology.
Okay.
So anyway, the budget allocation for our current budget, 2026, that this rate is set up for, is 126.77 million. 45% is our public safety, 4% is transportation, parks and recreation 6%, court services 10%, and whatever everything combined together after these 4 departments is all lump sum together in general government for 35%. Next slide, please. When we look at the 27 budget that we are right now in, I call it in a request stage, all requests came into us, is about $147 million without any new positions added. When we looked at those new positions requests, they're about $5 million. So we're talking about $152 million budget against whatever with our revenues coming in about 120. So what it shows is this, we have challenge that we are facing in next 2 months. We're going to be having a balanced budget in October, and hopefully we'll be adopting the budget for next year in December. Allocation wise, it's very similar to the allocation we have for 26. So all 45% public safety, transportation 5%, parks and recreation 6%, court services 10%, and general government is 34%. Very much similar to what our pattern is for these allocations. Next slide, please. Over a 10-year history for our tax digest is last 3 years, 24, 25, 26, 24 is 5.2 billion, 5.3 billion in 25, and 2026 is a little bit higher, $5.5 billion. When we look at our, next slide, please. millage rate history, telling us from 2022 to 2024, we kept it 18.69 mills. 25, we reduced it to 18.282. We further went down into 26, as we're proposing right now, is 18.19. Next slide, please. When we look at our taxes, that where it goes, and we look at $100,000 property as an example, and we said, okay, what about those host exemption, homestead exemption together? For a $100,000 property, we'll have 80% of those going to our school districts, 20% of those coming to the county into our general fund. Next slide, please. So comparison of our taxes, if we do this 18.19 million, mills, sorry, the 100,000 property value is going to be 198.73 for our homestead exemption and host credit. Estimated property taxes without those exemptions is going to be $727.60. For the same $350,000, $993 with the homestead and host credit, and $2546.6 is going to be without it. Next slide, please. This is where we're going to be with 18.19. We are estimating that we will have $128 million in tax revenues. Our millage rate current is 18.282. Our rollback again is 18.325. This 18.19 is lower than both of them. Having said that, I am all about question. If not, we have a video presentation a little bit that we can play that our PR team put together. I appreciate them also. Next slide, please. We can play the video. Then we come back to questions.
Okay, thank you.
What is the millage rate? Well, put it this way, it's what you owe in taxes on your property. Each mill represents $1 of $1,000 in property value. The county plans to reduce its millage rate from last year, 18.282, to a proposed rate of 18.190. To help lower your tax bill, the homestead exemption and the homestead option sales tax, also known as the host, can be applied to that amount. So for instance, if your house is valued at $100,000, you would owe approximately $727.60 in taxes. But with both the homestead and host exemptions applied, you only owe an estimated $198.73. Similarly, if your house is valued at $350,000, you would owe approximately $2,546.60. After applying both the homestead and host exemptions, you would only owe an estimated $993.63. So where do these tax dollars go? For every dollar on your property tax bill on homesteaded property, which also receives the host exemption in Rockdale County, generates approximately 20% or 20 cents, which goes towards county maintenance and operation. Let me repeat that. The county receives approximately 20% or 20 cents for maintenance and operation. The remaining 80% or 80 cents go toward the school system, which sets its own millage rate. The 20 cents from each dollar fund public safety, general government, court services, recreation, and transportation, all of which are included in the general fund. We hope this helps you understand the millage rate.
Thank you so much. Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you very much for the presentation. I know your team, along with the tax commissioner and with Director Barkley, have put a lot of time and effort into working collaboratively to come up with these numbers. I was hoping we'd get to 17.99. That was a goal that I really wanted to hit because I feel like it certainly would help citizens in our community as well as the businesses. I also know that we've been very good stewards of the tax dollars over the last couple of years, and we have been able to make some great achievements through the budget savings that you mentioned, over $7 million last year in budget savings, and that's been significant. But with our, can you talk about the growing tax digest, if you would, please, about the growth
think that,
this year?
Yeah, sure. And I think the tax digest, if I understand correctly, for the way I understood is this: the base-to-base tax digest did go down. It's the new growth we made it to 5.5 billion. The reason when the tax digest goes down, the millage rate goes up.
Right.
So the millage rate was 18.282. It went up to 18.325.
Right.
So the little bit growth that we are capturing into this rate. So beyond that, I think I'm going to leave it to Director Barkley to explain more technical aspect of it, if
Okay.
you're okay with that. Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Commissioners. I think from the illustration that Director showed you, or the CFO at least showed you earlier, you'd noticed that the digest actually had a slight increase for the past couple of years. I think it was that the assessed value was at 5.3, and then went to 5.5, and roughly to 5.6. So it's not really a big change as far as in the digest. And what we've noticed that throughout the Metro Atlanta region, there's been small increment increases as far as from a digest standpoint. Properties have been slower to sell, which has lowered the digest in a sense where, not necessarily lowered it, but it's slowed the growth, so that we haven't seen the growth that we've seen over the last 4 or 5 years. So whatever happens in the market in the next year or so, we probably will see changes. One of the things that are, I guess, hindering a lot of that has been the interest rates. So if you see inflation go down a little bit more and the interest rate go down as well, you're probably going to see more sales and the values, because more now it's more so a buyer's market in a sense where you're not seeing properties sell for what they sold before. Hopefully that explains it.
Yes, I think it certainly helps. So as those values trend down, I mean, this is nationwide that we're seeing a lot of the similar trends. So, it's not directly related to just Rockdale. This is
Right.
across the state, across the nation that we're seeing this trends. So can you talk a little bit, the increase in the tax digest, that's something that I know all of us have been working on improving so that we can shift the balance from 67% residential to a lower number.
Right.
I'd love to see 50% one day.
Right.
And so we do have projects, economic development projects on the way that should hit this next cycle for taxes. But
And I think that's a very good point. When you look at where we are moving towards in the next 3 to 4 years, based on some of the larger projects that are going to come on board, if I just talk a little bit about the data center that came on board for this year, we have a data center that was on board. The cost of that data center was like $130 million. So most of the projects that we've seen have not been projects of that size. So when we start seeing buildings of that nature come on the digest, that's going to balance the digest from a commercial to residential ratio from being 68%. We want to flip those numbers and not necessarily see the commercial being 68%, but it would be ideal if it was at least 60% of the digest and not necessarily residential being 68%. So we want to flip those things with some of the things that are coming on board. And it's not within the next 3 or 4 years, but it's probably going to be in the longer haul as we move further down the road, maybe 5 to 10 years down the road. We'll see a bigger change when some of these projects are actually taxable at that point.
Right. And Commissioner Washington, did you want to add something?
Thank you for coming on in.
I think one thing that, good morning, Commissioners.
morning.
Good morning, Commissioner Smith. One thing I think it's important for, especially our residents, to keep in mind is that because of HB 581, their values are frozen. If you had a homestead exemption in 2024, then we're still taxing you in some cases based on that 2024 value. So although the overall digest increased, the amount that an individual resident or homeowner is paying is not based on the increase that increase, it's based on their frozen value from 2024, 2025, 2024 or 2025.
Very good. And can you talk about any other opportunities for our community as far as collections and this next year? Do you have any predictions of?
Collections as in?
So can you talk a little bit about collection rates maybe and how that works for the county?
Okay, so right now, our collection rate is based on how much of the levy we are able to collect by December 31st. In past years, we've actually been at more than 100%, and that is because we collect prior year taxes in the current year that increases our collection rate. Is that the best way for me to say it? Yes, and one of the things that we've done a really good job at, my staff has done a really good job at, is making sure that we're working with citizens so that they do not get so far behind that they're not able to catch up. I don't know if how long you've been in Rockdale, but our previous tax commissioner held 2 tax sales in the 4 years that he was tax commissioner. And while that helps people on the front end, a lot of people got behind, 3-4 years, which is harder for you to catch up. And so we develop payment plans. We allow anyone in the county to get on the payment plan. As long as you hold tight to that payment plan, then you're able to do it every year if that helps you meet the tax obligation. And we've been really successful in not only keeping people from going to tax sale, but helping them meet that tax obligation without an additional burden. A lot of times when we talk about increases in tax bills, I hear, well, it's only $100 or it's only this amount. But the truth of the matter is that per month. But the truth of the matter is that the bill comes out in September and it's due 60 days later. You don't get a full year to pay that tax bill. So it's a little heavier of a lift if you are not prepared. By offering payment plans and offering other opportunities for folks to come in and sit down with my people and work something out as far as that tax obligation is concerned, we're able to kind of space that out, but still make sure that we're doing what I was elected to do, which is collect the taxes. I tell people it's not the fancy position that I have, but we all, just like offering in church, this is an opportunity for everybody in the community to contribute to the type of community that they want to live in.
Yes. Well, thank you for the job that you and your team do. We appreciate it. And I think with clarity, so you have a collection rate each year, and the reason that you can collect more than that is because there are those revenues that come in.
From prior years.
Yes.
So usually around December 31st, we're at about 94%. And then we work throughout the rest of the year to collect the other 6%. I don't think that there is any office that is going to collect 100% of the taxes in the current tax year, because we're doing things like making adjustments from appeals, or we're waiting for additional valuations to come in. So it's never possible to get to 100%, but we're usually at about 93-94% by December 31st, and then we spend the rest of the year trying to work with homeowners to collect, or work with property owners to collect the remaining.
And can you talk about the different streams of revenue that the county receives?
Well, from me, it's property tax revenue, and a lot of people don't realize that when you are renewing your registration, you're actually paying a property tax. In Georgia, motor vehicle registrations or titling is not a roads and use tax, it's a property tax, and that's why it's collected by the tax commissioner, and that's why we handle registration and titling. So we collect motor vehicle taxes, property, and there's personal, which is equipment, inventory for a business, or really big items. If you own a boat or if you own a plane, that's considered personal property, as well as residential property, the buildings, the real estate, mobile home taxes as well. That's the revenue that I'm responsiable for collecting.
And can you talk about what personal property entails? Because I have a lot of people that ask, and they're like, "Oh, I threw that away."
So I'm going to kick it back over to the
sorry,
assessor.
yes, back to the tax assessor. Yes, thank you.
Yes. So personal property is considered any assets that a business owns that adds any type of value to the business. you would have the furniture, the fixtures, the inventory, shelving. It could be pictures. It could be anything like that that contributes any type of value to the business. And personal property, as well as most of the other taxes that the tax commissioner mentioned, these are ad valorem taxes, and they're based on the Latin word ad valorem, which is according to value. So all of those are taxed based on a valuation. And for most part, the Board of Assessors are responsible for setting the valuation for all of these properties.
Okay.
Now, the public utilities that she slightly mentioned earlier, those valuations are established by the Georgia Department of Revenue. We don't necessarily establish the valuation for those. They provide those values, and we assess them based on that values, but we don't establish the values.
Can you talk about, just use Georgia Power, for example, and how that would apply to them?
Right. Georgia Power is considered a public utility. The state of Georgia actually sets a valuation as far as for them. They send us a copy of what the actual annual assessment notice is going to look like. It's the responsibility of my office to send that out to Georgia Power. We establish that value based on that notice, and then they have 45 days from the date of that notice to be able to challenge that valuation. And then once that valuation period or appeal period is over, that information is forwarded to the tax commissioner, and then she can bill. So that's one of the items that actually is billed outside of that, I guess, December 31st, because normally we don't receive them before December. So that slows that process down a little bit.
Okay. All right, very
All
good.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can tell why I was thanking them first.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Commissioner Williams, do you have any questions?
I don't.
Okay. And Commissioner Smith? Hi. Do you have
Hello. No, I don't have any. Thank you.
any? Okay, very good. All right, then at this point, we will move to item 4.
So can we talk about the host percentage before we do this?
Yes.
Good idea. Thank you.
Yes, so the host percentage with this rate of 18.19 came to 56.30. That's the credit that those homestead properties get from their taxes.
And that's using 100% of the host
100% of
tax
the-
to,
Yes. So we are
abate
using 100% of
homeowners.
24.6 million. Rinder has the numbers. Yes. So we are
Okay.
using 100% of that, but that 100% convert into the homestead credit of 56.3%,
okay.
dependent on this rate, 18.19.
Okay, so I move to set the 2026 millage rate.
I don't want to interrupt. I just want to make sure
Sorry.
nobody had any public comment today.
Oh,
I didn't receive any cards.
Okay.
oh, you're right, there's a public comment section.
Just making sure.
Okay,
All right.
so I move to set the 2026 millage rate at 18.19 and to set the 2026 host percentage at 56.30 and to adopt the resolution as presented.
I second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, I have 2 ayes and 1 opposed.
So you're opposed?
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your hard work. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
it.
everybody. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Thank you. Is there any additional board comment?
Well, I just wanted to say that while it would be nice to be 17.99, we have a whole new facility that we have to staff with more security, and I just don't think it's realistic to go that low.
Okay. All right, Commissioner Smith?
Yes, I would love to have it lower, but I am a type of a person who wants to use what I have and not what I'm expecting. So I think it would be safe for us to stay where we are right now. But ideally, yes, I would love for it to be lower, but right now I don't think that would be a great idea.
Very good. And I certainly respect both of you tremendously. And so I've taken an aggressive stance on this, and I understand, and I understand recommendations that have been made as well. So I appreciate very much our collaborative relationship. Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk, is there a need for any other executive session?
No,
or-
Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. At this time, I'll call the meeting to adjournment. Thank you for attending today. Did you, Commissioner, do you want to come in? Sorry.
Just wanted to share one more thing that I think residents should be aware of.
Okay.
This year, if you have a homestead exemption in place, you will also receive the homeowners tax relief grant, the HTRG. The last time we received it was in 2023. So homeowners should expect to see an additional credit of up to $327 on their tax bills. It's automatically applied. They don't have to do anything, and it is because our state legislature and our governor approved the grant for 2026.
Wonderful. Thank you. I know our taxpayers will appreciate that. All right, thank you. This meeting is now called to adjournment. Thank you.